Welcome to another chapter of Stelmo's Rants and Raves. I'm Stelmo. Let's dig into this. So today is election day in a number of states, and one of those states is Georgia. And I think the first thing that comes to mind is deja vu, because here we go. So I'm reading an article that I got out of the libertydaily.com, and this particular article is from John Sullivan and Just the News. And again, John Sullivan stays on top of this stuff. He's really a great reporter. I've respected him for years now. I've listened to him and enjoy his work, and he's trying to keep things honest out there. But there's these problems in Georgia, and I don't know exactly what's causing these problems, but well, actually, I got a good idea. You know, I'm a pessimist at times, and one of those times is when I heard about Georgia electing two Democrat senators. I said, no way, that's just not possible. It's not in a realm of possibilities, yet it happened. And I think we all know why it happened. The same reason why Donald Trump lost the election in 2020, because it was rigged. And it seems to me one of the perpetrators is Raffensperger. And, he's on the ballot. And the problem is he's closed and they're calling it a bunker. And this is where the results come in from all the counties, and they tabulate the statewide results. And they've made this a very private place and not open to any of the candidates or their teams, which, I mean, in and by itself, it's right on its face suspicious. So we're going to see if Georgians, so you got to watch what I say here, because I'm tempted to say, if Georgians, elect this guy to another office, then they deserve what they get. But the stark reality is, if you fix the election, the Georgians aren't really the ones voting for you. And I believe this guy is dirty. But it is what it is. So we have Georgia State Senator Greg Dolezal. Now, let me just comment here, because every time I see this guy's name, I'm reminded of, I think her first name was Rachel Dolezal. And, she was one of the first out there who, I guess we can call her woke, because she was a white woman by birth who was claiming to be black, and was even elected to chair a local chapter of the NAACP. And hey, if she thinks she's black, who am I to argue with her? People can see what they can see. But anyway, that's what I think of every time I see this Senator Greg Dolezal's name somewhere. And, he's quoted in this article as saying transparency should not be controversial. And boy, oh boy, is that a true statement. And and he's claiming that his because he's filed a lawsuit to open up the central location. They call it the bunker. And so there's at least a Republican and a Democrat who want to observe this process and who are being denied the right to watch it. And you have to wonder, what is going on there? Well, like it or not, who's at fault here? Well, it's the Trump DOJ. Look, Donald Trump, I don't know what it is with his DOJ picks, but he hasn't had a lot of success thus far. And right now, he doesn't show any kind of haste in naming a replacement for Bondi. Now, with that being said, since Bondi has left, there have been several good signs coming out of the DOJ, but I'm not sure how long that'll last or how widespread it'll be. That's something that remains to be seen. And they're looking into this, the Georgia election in 2020, and they need to. But the problem is it's taking them too long. Why doesn't it take the Democrats this long to do their nefarious acts that they're forever coming up with? And that's because they coalesce around whoever's coming up with whatever wacko idea that they've come up with. And that's what they go forth with. But this is problematic. Now, I'm hoping, and one of the things with the news is it's always it's reporting things generally in the past tense, and so we don't know. We do know that Greg Dolezal, Senator Dolezal, has fired a lawsuit to open up the bunker so that these people can get in, but we're not sure whether or not that's going to happen in time to actually get people in there to see what's going on. But I don't trust this Brad Rapsenberger any farther than I can toss him, and I'm too old to be tossing people around, so that's not going to happen. But Americans need to open their eyes, open their ears, and start to act accordingly. If they don't start getting out there and letting their voice be known, this country is going to be lost. Yeah, there are people fighting. Donald Trump is a fighter, but unfortunately, he doesn't always have a team, his team, on his side. And now, why could that be? Well, I suggest that this has a lot to do with it. I keep mentioning there was $170 million in cash that was confiscated from a jet on the tarmac in Minneapolis getting ready to fly to Somalia. So if the crooks, the criminal element, have this sort of lucrative payday to them, well, just imagine how much money is willing to be paid to the politicians to sort of close their eyes to these evil acts. And it's to the point now where our financial system is shaky enough the way things are. In fact, nobody knows at this point in time how bad it's going to get with the private credit market. But, you have BlackRock now, second fund is having financial problems. And I think there's a lot more because I think that, again, people have no morals, people have no ethics. So as a result of this, I think there was a lot of fudging of the books, if for no other reason to ensure that their lucrative paydays, that the money was there to satisfy their raping of their companies, because that's how I'm going to describe it. And, now it's starting to come out. I think it's going to accelerate. And where it ends up, I don't know. And if anyone else tells you they know for certain, I'm not going to buy it, because there are too many little nuances that come out. Take with the Strait of Hormuz, it's closed, and we know that there's no oil being transported through the strait. So we know that, but we don't know all of the other items that are not related to oil and the oil industry that also pass through here. And some of these things I talked in the past where India, they passed a law that said soda has to be in aluminum cans, and they import their aluminum from the Middle East, and it transits the Strait of Hormuz, and of course it's closed, so they're not getting any more aluminum. So the article had a headline reading, the shortage of Diet Pepsi. And, when you first read the headline, you sort of laugh. But then when you read the article, you realize here's something that really nobody's talking about, but yet another issue. And then yesterday there was another headline. I want to say it had something to do with paint or something. And again, it's creating shortages because a critical element transits the Strait of Hormuz, and it's been closed, so they haven't been able to get this stuff out and about. And we apparently are in no hurry to open the Strait of Hormuz, which that in and by itself is, I mean, it's problematic, but it's also, I'm racking my brain trying to say to myself, what is the goal here? I mean, I fail to see what's going on. But anyway, it is what it is. It's sad, though, that today here is election day in Georgia, and there's a controversy. And will the courts rectify it in time? I don't know. What are they hiding? That's the ultimate question. Why the secrecy? Why the secrecy? And this should bother every Georgian out there. You know, I had when I was in the Army, I spent about a year and a half in Georgia, and I really got to know a lot of Georgians, and I'm sure that they do not like what's going on. I just hope that people stay on top of this, because right now I just see too much apathy from the public. And they need to start speaking out, because if they don't, they're going to wake up one day and their country's going to be gone and they're never going to get it back. And trust me when I say this, if you think you don't like the way things are going now, just wait till you see what they have in store for you down the road. And it's not a pretty picture. It's not a pretty picture at all. But, you know, so many years ago, you know, the phrase "the silent majority" was coined. I think it was Richard Nixon or Jerry Falwell, one of them, coined this phrase. And if they continue to stay silent, they're going to become sore losers. But they're going to be sore losers who have no avenue to take to rectify what becomes a far worse situation for them than they have now. And I know that's hard for people to comprehend, but just don't complain, don't protest, don't do anything, and you'll just get what you deserve. And let's hope that that's not the case. Let's hope this gets rectified. And let's hope we don't hear of any other voting issues here in this election day, which I think is about half a dozen states are holding elections. And tomorrow, I'm sure we'll come on and talk about some of the results. But until then, I want everyone to have a safe day. It's a crazy world out there. It gets crazier by the day. And with that, have a great one. Bye-bye.